The teams were named, obviously, 2 changes to the Ireland team that beat the All Blacks. The big call, I suppose, is Robbie Henshaw at 15, which we had anticipated based only on reports, but really it's a bit of a bolt from the blue or from left field in terms of a decision. What are your thoughts on it as somebody who obviously operated at 15 for large portions of your career and still do?
Yeah, I think it's a good fit. I think Robbie will go really well. He's such a talented footballer, and he's got great skills in all facets of the game, really. His kicking game's really strong, his aerial game's really strong, passing. He has all the attributes to fit in perfectly. And having him on the pitch with, Ringrose and Aki and these guys, to drop one of them off the squad would have been probably a difficult thing to do. So you're probably better off playing him a full-back, maybe out of position, but I think his skill set is good enough that he can perform really well there.
That being said, when it was sort of first suggested that he would be playing 15, were you surprised to hear that?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I thought he was going to play in the centre just because it's been a while since he's played there, He was only breaking onto the scene when he was playing at fullback. So I was a bit surprised. I know how good Andrew Conway is at fullback, and Jordan Larmer's been carving up at fullback as well for Leinster. So, there's other options to go with, but I think Robbie is such an influential person on the Irish team that it's pretty important to have him out there, even out of position.
Did he ever run in training when you were in Ireland camp at fullback?
Not when I was there, no.
Because Joe was talking about it a bit today that he's actually been kind of quietly doing in the background, probably just for the last year then, I guess.
Maybe, yeah.
Getting his reps in.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but just with Rob Kearney, it's interesting as well because he's obviously been the incumbent there. It'd be interesting to see moving forward if it is like a long-term plan for Robbie Henshaw to move back there. Rob Kearney's obviously been so reliable. Like, what are the things that he brings maybe that Robbie Henshaw might not have in that position?
Well, I don't think Rob has anything that Robbie doesn't have. I just think Robbie is playing there for the first time in a long time, so he'll obviously get good tips off of Rob on what to do, So I think an important thing for him will be the aerial game this weekend. I fancy England to test him out a little bit. And his backfield coverage, so touchline to touchline, working with his wingers and making sure that Owen Farrell doesn't find space from a bouncing ball. That's a big no-no in playing in fullback. You don't want that out half to kick a ball and make it touch the grass. So his backfield coverage is going to be very big this week, and his aerial skills he'll have to do a bit of work on, I'd imagine, just to freshen himself up. But he's got it all, in fairness to him. He's got a great engine, great skill set, and big game temperament as well. So he'll go well.
Just in terms of your own transition to fullback, like when we saw you burst onto the scene for Munster, it was largely on the wing. But when you moved to 15, where you enjoyed a lot of your success there, what are the first things that you have to concentrate on in terms of adapting to the position? Like you mentioned decision making earlier on, but I suppose, how do you actually approach the change? Like, what changes for you in terms of how you approach a game?
Well, in terms of attack, you have a lot more freedom, and you're able to roam around and pick your own lines and when to attack and different situations to try and pick out a few fatties whenever you want, roaming around the ruck. It's just a lot easier than staying on your wing, having to burn a winger or a fullback. You can pick out the big boys. And then in defence, it is definitely a bit different in defence because suddenly when you're on the wing, you're almost working for the fullback. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's the boss of the backfield, and you take your orders from him, and he tells you when to close up and make a tackle, or he tells you when to stay back and cover the backfield for the catch. It's definitely much that. And when you're put into the fullback position, you're suddenly the boss in terms of the backfield coverage. So it's a bit more responsibility than playing on the wing or in the centre, but it's good. Yeah, you just embrace it and go with it.
But presumably then, if the fullback is kind of in charge of the back three in that regard, then the fullback is required to have. I mean, you're going to need to have the knowledge in order to back those orders. I mean, because if you're telling a winger to push up and the kick goes in behind him and you look like an idiot, you lose a bit of trust there as well.
Yeah, and some people might say, oh, that's a bad decision from the winger, but it's actually the fullback who's letting down by giving him bad communication or bad advice on what to do in a split second, and people don't see that, or the other way around. You know, if somebody tells you, I have your corner, and you go up, and where are you? You know, you just left me hanging. Now I look like a dope. You know, so it's just it's those little things that people don't see all the time. It's what makes a good team and separates them from a great team. So, yeah.
And from your own experience of playing alongside Robbie, against Robbie at provincial level, I think maybe every player at that level is vocal to an extent, but is he the type of guy who can kind of command his two wingers in front of him this weekend?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Yeah, he's well able to speak. You know, he doesn't speak too often. From when I was dealing with him, he might have matured a little bit, or found the confidence in his voice a bit more. But he's well able to speak, and he plays at a high enough level that people respect him and listen to him straight away. You know, whenever he does speak. So no, he'll be great. He'll be well able to boss the two wingers, and Earlsey and Jacob will definitely be able to bounce off him and feed him. And I'm sure they've had enough weeks preparation now, knowing what they're going into. Yeah, I think Robbie will lead it well.